So check it out. I'm really excited about this video. Usually when we do these videos, we're just kind of playing it off the cuff. We're just seeing what comes across our path for that day, but tonight is a little bit different. We have an exclusive access, if you will, to a 150-year-old mansion right here in the heart of Memphis, Tennessee. You can see it behind me, and for those of you who are Memphians out there, you know exactly what you're looking at. That is the Woodruff-Fontaine House. And tonight we are going inside. We have a special guest who will be filling us in on the history of this house, and it's going to be awesome. So thanks for watching, and here we go.
My name is Michelle, and I am the current president of ABCA, which runs the Woodruff-Fontaine House Museum. So this right here is Amos and Phoebe Woodruff. They came here from Rahway, New Jersey. Mr. Woodruff actually came here in the 1840s to build a carriage business. So he was here for several years, and he would go back and forth between Rahway, New Jersey, and Memphis. He realized that he could make a lot of money in Memphis, so he wanted to stay. Phoebe, on the other hand, did not. So he offered to build her a nice big house on what was then called Millionaires Row, which is where all the prominent Memphians came to live. So those two built this house in 1871. They moved in with their 4 children. Their daughter Molly was married in this parlor across the hall, and they lived here for 12 years. They sold the house to these people, Nolan and Virginia Fontaine. Nolan was a cotton factor. He was actually like the 3rd wealthiest in America. Mrs. Fontaine actually just came from family money. They had 9 children, but only 7 grew up to adulthood, and they lived here for over 40 years. He died in 1912, and she died in 1929. So after she died, the kids that remained here sold the house for an antique store. But the stock market crashed in 29, so that was not a viable business option. So the house was vacant. And then next door, Miss Rosalie actually started an art school out of this house for several years. And they moved to Memphis College of Arts, and that's when the APTA got the house. So we are sitting in the ballroom at the house. Both families love to entertain. We had several heads of state that came through here when they built the Harahan Bridge. They also entertained Adelaide Stevenson, who was vice president. They held a fundraiser for him here. The room is actually built to mimic French Victorian. So you'll see the sides of the room are actually mirror images of each other. That's why this door right here looks like a window to mirror image the windows on the other side of the room. The ceiling was done by Louis Clericus. He was known for his fresco style paintings. Mrs. Woodruff wanted that done. Mrs. Fontaine actually didn't like it, so covered it up. And the art school left it covered, so it just needed to be restored. But we have his business card.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can focus on that. There it is. Very cool.
Now, the chandelier is not original. It actually came from a French palace and predates the house by like 100 years.
Wait, the chandelier? Having some problems focusing with the light, but that chandelier is 100 years older?
Yes.
Than the house?
Yes.
All right, so I am in the ballroom of the Woodruff-Fontaine House, hanging out with my friends there behind me. Michelle just told us a little bit about this wonderfully decorated room. You really have to see this in person to notice the amount of detail that went into building a house of this caliber.
There were so many people that had to come and build the house, and they had to stay here for the duration of the project. So they were here for 6 months to a year, maybe longer. Mr. Woodruff found out that one of the men that was here actually had a child die while he was here, and he couldn't go back home because by the time he was going to get there, everything would have been over, and he needed to make money for his remaining family. So here is a close-up picture of it. He let him do a tribute to his child on the back of on the medallions above the doors on the first floor. It's a little boy, and there's also a bird, which is symbolic of Victorian mourning.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
This room is always made me laugh because it's one way Mr. Woodruff kind of showed off his money, because back then they charged you for the number of doors.
Oh, really?
And the number of closets. And this room has 7 doors and 2 closets.
So a sign of wealth was to have a lot of doors in your house.
Yes, because that is something they taxed on. And every bedroom except for one has a closet.
Wow. Harry, this is where you would drink your Miller Lite and your Chef Boyardee.
That's right. I have it right here.
Head of the table. So we are headed to the second floor of the Woodruff-Fontaine House, and you can see over the banister there, and yet we have another floor to go. This place is massive, and Michelle is going to tell us a little bit about the rose room on this floor.
This was Molly Woodruff's bedroom. She was actually married downstairs in the parlor to Egbert Woodruff. They moved up here. They had this room and the adjoining bedroom as kind of their suite while they were married. And they had a nursery because Mr. Woodruff thought that they would have children soon after they got married. Well, they were married for several years. She got pregnant, she had the baby, and the baby died right after childbirth. So they mourned for several months. Egbert decided to go on a fishing trip in the Mississippi River with his friends. He fell out of the boat, came back, went to bed, and died 3 days later up here in this room. Molly remained single for the entire time the family lived here, and then she married a man by the last name of Henning, who actually family owned what is now Mud Island, so they moved out there. She got pregnant with his baby 10 years after the first one, and that baby died as well. Molly outlived her second husband and died much later at her sister's home of heart trouble. So some have said she has come back here to where she was the most happy in her life.
Now, I have to focus on this bed here. There's been reports that she has sat on the bed, or
yes.
what's the...
Yes, so Molly likes to kind of roam when there's people in the house, but then she will sit on the bed just to kind of listen and talk and see what's going on. So you can see an indent when she's sitting on the bed. It kind of like towards the edge, because she's a lady, she's dainty, she's not going to style to lay down on the bed. She also will play the organ after the museum closes, because she did like to play music. I've been in here when the bed has just automatically started going down like someone took a seat on it. Children have seen her. I saw her one time, and that hasn't been that long ago.
Wait a second, you actually physically saw
I
it?
did. It was around Christmas time, and we were decorating the Christmas tree downstairs. So I came up here just to kind of look at all the Christmas decorations, and I looked in the nursery that was nicely decorated, and I looked, and I happened to glance at the dresser in the mirror, and I could see her behind me. Just for a very split second.
Wow.
And I ran downstairs after that happened.
Is there any way I could turn up the lights in here?
God, this light is so
I really didn't intend to make this a corny ghost hunter video, and I still want to focus on the history of the building more so than the paranormal investigations. But what's really weird is, I'm going to say this again, that I've had this camera for about a month and I've shot 3 videos, and in this room specifically, this camera is acting nuts. I can't focus on any faces. It's out of focus. It's turning off by itself. It's taking pictures by itself, and it is not recognizing any faces. It's focusing or trying to recognize a face in the corner of the room. So I'm not making this up. This is pretty crazy. So I'm getting a little bit freaked out. So let's go ahead and leave this room.
Of course.
Okay, so we are on the 3rd floor. Yeah. So you want to tell us a little bit about this one? Yeah.
The ceiling up here is one full piece of hand-hammered tin.
Oh, wow.
That was actually the last piece of the house that was built. It was hand-hammered in the backyard and pulled up to the roof on pulleys. Then up here on this ceiling, when we had water damage several years ago, they uncovered some stencil work.
Oh, really? Wow.
So it does stand to reason that all of these white walls and white ceilings are not accurate, and there's really cool things underneath. So hopefully we will eventually uncover all of it. This room, my favorite. This is Elliot's room.
Elliott-Fontaine.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So we have, he is our other well-known resident spirit. He is known for practical jokes. He also was the one who watched his dad die in the ballroom. And he actually died himself 6 years later in the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918.
1918. Okay.
So this picture over here, that is the last living Fontaine that was in Memphis. James Fontaine. Yes, that is the male child.
Mm-hmm.
He died in 2003, so he had come to the house and acknowledged that that is him, and his mother made him wear a dress.
What do you think, Harry?
Awesome.
So we call this the right room. So about 2 years ago, a man by the name of Luke Eldridge Wright died, and he was integral in getting Victoria Village started, restoring this house, and he left his house and his possessions to us. So as you'll see, we've just played a live selection in this room and dedicated this room to him. But this chair right here belongs to Charles Dickens.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The Charles Dickens?
Yes, the Charles Dickens. It was acquired on auction back when the house was being restored. I don't know why they thought it would be a good idea to get Charles Dickens' chair, but they did. And so now we have young people come through and think he's the one that wrote the Jim Carrey movie.
What's your favorite room, Mike?
The tower.
Oh, up there?
Yeah.
What the heck is up there?
Let's go!
Let's go see.
All right.
Whoa!
Holy cow.
Excellent views. Roof access. We got a good view of downtown right here.
Oh wow, you can see the buildings off in the distance. So, I don't expect this will show up very well on the video, but Harry has just showed me the tower room of the Woodruff-Fontaine, and this is not for those who are afraid of heights. I'm a little bit freaked out now. But what would this be considered, like the 5th floor? Because we just went 4 and then 5.
Yeah.
But from up here, and the camera's not doing it justice because apparently the lights don't work. So in addition to my camera breaking all the time, the lights are not working on this level. But you can kind of see out and see the entire downtown Memphis from here. I mean, we are up high. This is crazy.
All right.
Harry and Mike have found their way to the back balcony on the 2nd floor of the Woodruff-Fontaine House. So I'm in the back courtyard of the Woodruff-Fontaine House. That is the carriage house. A lot of receptions are held there. As we move to the back here, there is appears to be like a children's playhouse in the back. I don't know if you can see that sign. It says Handworker Gingerbread Playhouse. It was built in 1890. Wow. And Mike and Harry are obsessed with this other house. What is this, Mike?
Check this out.
Harry is beckoning me to the murder shed back here. What in the world is that? So this has been a really cool stay. Harry, come over here. This has been a really cool visit to the Woodruff-Fontaine House. Special thanks to Michelle for allowing us inside and telling us, yes, thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
My camera is breaking again as, as I'm doing this. We'll see if any of this is salvageable, but thanks again for tuning in, and we're signing off.
All right.